When you join the school jazz band as a teenager, one of the first things you're told is to swing the quavers, or eighth notes as Americans call them. As with many of the first things you're told about jazz, the truth is actually much more complicated. Even within a single decade, the 1920s, jazz musicians played eighth notes in an extraordinary variety of ways, depending on the year, the tempo, and the tune. It's clear from reading original manuscripts that these approaches were far from accidental. Take for example this Arthur Schutt sheet music that has equal eighth notes coexisting with dotted eighth and 16th note passages. Those of us interested in this old music today would do well to pay attention. I've selected a bunch of records that showcase different approaches to eighth notes, in both their rhythm and articulation. These approaches are often most obvious in the front line, but in my experience, it's rhythm sections that make these different feels possible or impossible. Let's check out some of the different ways 1920s bands created a strong groove. The term ragga jazz is a helpful way of characterizing the rich blend of ragtime and jazz apparent on so many records throughout the early 20s. These sorts of bands feature plenty of syncopation, polyphonic ensembles, hot effects and blue notes, and they usually play eighth notes very evenly, often quite staccato. Take for example Ole Miss, recorded by the New Orleans Jazz Band in 1920. Their even eighth notes result in an overall rhythmic effect that is arrestingly powerful. Louis Armstrong is often credited with bringing so-called swung eighth notes to jazz. This is actually a simplification. Pre-Armstrong Fletcher Henderson records feature a similar rhythmic feel, but it's undeniable that Armstrong swings like crazy in his featured solos with Henderson. Armstrong's approach to eighth notes is built on triplets, with the first two of each joined. It's a subtle approach, neither jerky nor smooth, that nonetheless creates a strong groove. Here they are on Money Blues in 1925. There is a time and a place for unsubtle jauntiness, though. The California Ramblers and their associated groups are typical of the hot dance approach to eighth notes in the mid-1920s, with a hotsy-totsy style that relies on a dotted eighth and a 16th note, with a staccato on the first. The resulting rhythmic feel is jerky and jaunty, with a high-stepping result that pushes the listener or dancer along. Here's Red Nichols playing cornet with the Little Ramblers in 1925, on Crosswords Between My Sweetie and Me. Within a year or two, Red Nichols was employing a totally different approach to eighth notes. His developing group of New York modernists were increasingly using even eighth notes, but with a streamlined articulation that gives an air of sophistication and detachment. Exactly where this change came from is up for debate, but my working theory is that Nichols got it from his newfound partner, Miff Moll. Here they are together in 1927 on Moll's trombone tour de force, Slippin' Around. Jazz isn't a straight line. Different players play in their own ways, dependent on their influences, not simply following current trends. Reedman Don Murray grew up listening to Jack Pettis, the sax player in the Friar Society Orchestra, and adopted Pettis's rolling Midwest dotted 8th and 16th note lines. They lend a springing ebullience to Murray's solos, due in part to their legato articulation. Here he is with his classic opening solo on Sorry with Bix and his gang in 1927. Around the same time that Red Nichols and Miff Moll were using even eighth notes to create a reserved sound, others were using them to very different ends. Listen to clarinetist Omer Simeon with Jelly Roll Morton on Georgia's Swing in 1928. The crisp articulation of these strings of even eighth notes lends spicy piquancy, reminding us that the term hot jazz is about flavour, not temperature. The relationship between rhythm and articulation is especially complex. Dotted 8th and 16th note lines can be rolling and sunny in the hands of legato-tongued Murray, but a bit more staccato can change everything. Here's the mercurial Buster Smith on alto sax with Walter Page and his Blue Devils, on Squabblin' from 1929. His spiky uneven lines startle and prod the listener. Teaching jazz students that they must swing the eighth notes is a surefire way of ensuring that live jazz in the future will be bland and samey. Different rhythmic approaches, coupled with the thoughtful use of articulation, are part of what give jazz its vibrant diversity. Instead of championing one way to swing, I'd suggest we embrace the idea that getting it right depends on what we're trying to achieve.
Crosswords have made me blue as can be. Crosswords between my sweetie and me. He sits puzzling, don't seem to care whether I'm near her or taking the air. I'm jealous, how can I win sympathy? I'm hoping he'll soon need LOV.